Alright, so let us begin with metals, continuation of metals from the Allen's keynotes. We have so far studied argentum met, stannum met, aurum met, and all the metals have some theme which is running common. All the metals have some peculiar characteristic which run through all the remedies. Like argentum and stannum, we saw had peculiar cough and other symptoms you will see from the thematic level, but we are discussing more about the physicals and about the symptoms from the Allen's keynotes, and we studied about aurum met. Today we'll study something about cuprum metallicum, and good to see depth of homeopathy and a few followers on YouTube as well. So let us go through cuprum met from Allen's keynotes and its applicability in clinical practice, practical homeopathy, and some interesting case which I would like to share. First line is that bad effects of repercussed eruptions, which means that whichever eruptions were not healed well, they have been suppressed. They were kind of not allowed to express themselves. That's where we should employ cuprum met. And if it is not properly developed, it should pass through certain stages: macule, papule, pustule, vesicles. If it does not pass through the exact stages, zincum metallicum is the remedy that we should think. If these eruptions cause bad effects or results in brain affections, it can be convulsions, it can be vomiting, etc., etc. That's where we should think of through all the metals. We saw in stannum met it is there in the chest region, and in argentum met it's there in the throat region. So everywhere you will see there is this exhaustion, and over here in cuprum met it is from loss of sleep, overexertion of the mind, and cocculus and nux vomica are top remedies which we should think of in such cases. Attacks of uncontrollable or unconquerable anxiety. So when you have these kinds of anxieties, which it's kind of a panic state, when people report to you that I had a panic state, I didn't know what to do, I was going on a tour and I just exited from my journey because I didn't feel good, I returned back. That's a panic state, that's an anxiety state. That's where also you can think of cuprum met as one of the top remedies. So we have some good homeopaths joining us on YouTube. We are live simultaneously on YouTube and Instagram. On Instagram I see Nafisa Beth and Mission to Cure joining us. So let's continue this journey of cuprum met. Spasms and cramps, symptoms disposed to appear in periods or periodically they are seen or in groups. Now once you understand this line, the very first line which says spasms and cramps, everywhere you will see that there is spasm, whether it is in the chest region, in the cough, in the nervous system, etc., etc. So we have this spasm and crampy situation everywhere across the remedy, running through as a thick strand of the remedy, and it appears in groups. Now how do you understand this? Once it is said that the symptom appears in groups, it means that two systems of the body will be involved or multiple systems of the body will be involved, and every time these expressions will make itself seen. It's not just about a single part or single symptom isolated somewhere, but it will be seen everywhere on the general level, maybe two systems or three systems or something that always comes together. So Om Verma ji, namaste. Aapko from YouTube he is joining, and few other people from YouTube also have joined, and we are discussing cuprum metallicum. Cough of cuprum metallicum has a gurgling sound as if water was poured from a bottle. So for this you need to understand and analyze what is there in while you pour the water. from a glass to a jug, just the sound that comes, that will be the exact sound that you will hear in a cuprum metallicum patient. Cough, which is better by drinking cold water. Causticum and cuprum are the top remedies for better by drinking cold water or better by drinking water itself also. If it is aggravated by drinking cold water, think about spongia. There are a lot of remedies aggravated by cold water. Over here only one remedy is mentioned. But what I would like to tell you is that better by drinking cold water is very less occurrence, and very few people will actually take cold water when they have cough. So it's not so clinically relevant because people will avoid it. But if you get it, sometimes some people don't leave their habits. That's where you can think of cuprum met, causticum. These are the top two remedies. Whooping cough, cuprum metallicum is one of the top remedies. It will be indicated in the convulsive phase. I have earlier shared a very nice video on what you should do when the different cases of cough report in your clinic, and I shared about 3 different stages. First is the catarrhal phase, second is the convulsive phase, it's a spasmodic phase, third is the defervescent phase. In spasmodic phase, in the catarrhal phase, you will see that the cough has just begun. It will be first few hours of the reporting of the patient. In the convulsive phase, it will be mostly sometimes be so bad that patient is compelled to adapt to some position or do something. And in defervescent phase, he is out of the cough, but still some episodes of cough keep on happening which disturb him, which is what he is reporting to you. If you understand these 3 stages, you will find in different repertories, different locations, you will be able to cure your patients very easily. So we have in cuprum met whooping cough, which is long lasting, suffocating, spasmodic cough, unable to speak. Patient is breathless, blue face, rigid, stiff, and there are 3 attacks. 3 attacks cough. You need to see the coughs, and only then you will be able to understand what is 3 attacks. Anyways, I'll come up with something which you will definitely like. What is 3 attacks cough? And that's where you can understand the different types of cough which you need to ponder upon when you prescribe a remedy for certain cough types. You see that in cuprum met it is successively in 3 attacks. Like stanum met, it can also be like Merck salt, very close running remedies. Vomiting of solid food after regaining consciousness, cannabis indica, and cataleptic spasm with each paroxysm. So you see that there is, with the cough, there is involvement of the nervous system also. There is a kind of an unconscious state also. So it is appearing in group. This is what we saw a few minutes earlier in the cuprum metallicum. In Allen's keynotes, it's mentioned spasms and cramps, symptoms disposed to appear in groups or periodically. Going further, for cuprum met, we have strong sweetish metallic copper taste in the mouth with the flow of saliva. There are very few remedies which will have excess of salivation during their symptoms, when they exhibit the symptoms. Number 1 is ipecac, rust tox is number 2, Merck salt is also one of the remedies, and cuprum met here you see is one of the other remedies. Once you find that this is the peculiar quality of the symptom of the patient, you will be much happier to prescribe this remedy which has a peculiar characteristic symptom than to give something which is on a broader generalized aspect, which is cough. Cough is like there in so many 400, 500, 700 remedies, or can be lot of remedies. So a strong sweetish metallic coppery taste in the mouth with the flow of saliva. With the flow of saliva is very important. You see this in Merck salt, you see this in ipecac, rustox. Go and read those remedies. You will find out what I had shared about those remedies in the Allen's keynote study street. Constant prostration and retraction of a tongue like a snake. Lachesis is one of the remedies mentioned, and cuprum met is one. Now this is something which is going to happen only in convulsive states, not in normal states. If you understand this, you will ignore the symptoms only to look for it in those times when it is needed. While drinking, the fluid descends with a gurgling sound. We saw that the cough also has this gurgling sound. The fluid which goes from the mouth to the throat also, or the stomach, also has this gurgling sound. It is also there in arsenic and thuja. Cholera morbus, Asiatic cholera with cramps in the abdomen and calves of the legs. So you will go through the history of homeopathy. There were cholera epidemics, and what was interesting is that there were many epidemics of different diseases, and cholera epidemic was treated successfully with cuprum made by lot of homeopaths, and also uh, camphora was one of the other remedies which was used in those times. After pains in female reproductive system are mentioned as severe, this is what happens after the delivery, distressing pains in the calf and the soles. So you will see that again there is symptom that appear in group. In the cholera morbus symptom, there is mentioned that the calves of the legs are affected, or there are cramps in the abdomen with the cholera. So diarrhea with the cramps, diarrhea with or cholera with the calf cramps. Again, in female reproductive system, you will see that after pains, post pregnancy, post delivery, there is after pains or severe pain with cramps in the calves or the soles. So this is what is meant by symptoms appearing in groups. Once you understand this analogy, understanding analogy is what will take you forward to understand the patient symptoms directly and prescribe remedies accordingly. So we have a few new followers on YouTube as well as Instagram, and good to see Govind Rajput, Pranitha, Yelakani, and Ritz, and Kalyani, and Grace Homeopathy, etc. etc. Good to see you all. And if you are attending this Ellen's keynote session for the first time, you will understand that we are almost on the verge of finishing Ellen's keynotes. Every day one or the other remedy, one or two or five remedies were taken up, which were mostly correlated, similar, and they are study from the Ellen's keynotes, and clinically what is relevant, what are the cases that I had seen, what would be the potency that you would prescribe, what I had prescribed, and what you can do best in certain different cases. This is discussed. If you have attended earlier sessions, you can keep studying along so that your materia medica is strengthened. The idea is that every homeopath should every day study one medicine. Only then you will be able to help patients cure with homeopathy. Otherwise, materia medica is a very volatile subject. It will immediately vanish from your minds once you are out of materia medica, study and the connection. So going back to cuprum metallicum, and in extremities we see cramps in the extremities, pains, soles, calves with great weariness of the limbs. So there will be a kind of a loose body ache, and there will be cramps in the extremities in one or the other parts with generalized body pain. This is symptoms appearing in groups. Convulsions with blue face, clenched thumbs. Clonic spasms beginning in the fingers and the toes and then spreading over the entire body during pregnancy, and puerperal convulsions after fright, vexation, metastasis from other organs to the brain. Zincum metallicum is one of the top remedies, and you have over here cuprum metallicum also. So understanding these symptoms, there are lot of extensive statements, sentences mentioned. We have to break it in pieces and understand that, then it will become easier for you. If you are new to homeopathy or if you have been practicing since long, there are a lot of hidden mysteries in all the original books. Once you understand that, your job to prescribe medicines becomes easier. Paralysis of the tongue, imperfect, and there is stammering speech. Epilepsy, aura begins in the knees and ascends. All cases of epilepsy, all cases of fevers, all cases of cough, you will need to ask how did the complaints begin. In fact, you need to ask for all the complaints, but the aura begins mostly in these cases in certain places. Once you understand that, you will be able to reach to the remedy much faster than from other places or other case taking methods. So in epilepsy, in cuprum metallicum, you see aura begins in the knees and ascends. Ascending phenomena is one of the interesting things that you will see. Patient came and told me, I had throat pain few days ago, then the cold started, nasal discharge started. There are very few remedies in the materia medica. Number one, top remedy you should think of is sepia and Merck sorrow. So once you go and study these remedies, they have ascending effects. Okay, Cupra metallicum has this ascending effect for convulsions. In fact, you can generalize this also and prescribe the remedy which you know based upon the symptoms of the patient if it is seen in multiple parts. So in epilepsy, in Cuprum Med, aura begins in the knees and ascends, aggravated at night during sleep. Bufo is another remedy over there, and about the new moon. It happens mostly around new moon. Boger has written very good, fantastically on the moon as a prescriptive factor, and it happens over here. Cuprum metallicum epilepsy happens at regular intervals, like suppose in menses, from a fall, blow upon the head, or from getting wet. Aggravation from cold air, cold wind at night, suppressed foot sweat, or exanthema. Amelioration from nausea, vomiting, cough by drinking cold water. Relations. Now we come to the end part, and what you see is interesting related to calcarea carb. So we have discussed calcarea carb. There were many acute satellites that we discussed. Belladonna is one of the top. Rust ox is another. Borax, Ethusa are another few. You can think of Sanicula as one of the extensions. Similarly, for calcarea carb, there will be many such extensions, many such remedies which would probably work as acute or would complement the action of this remedy. Once you know that, you will be in a better position to prescribe in follow-ups. One of the toughest things for a homeopath is follow-ups, and if you are able to understand the remedy relationships, you will be much more confident and a fast prescriber in follow-ups. Then keep on thinking what to do. Okay, so we have this remedy Cuprum metallicum compare with arsenic, veratrum in cholera or cholera morbus in gastric complaints, and ipecac is the vegetable analog. Interestingly, ipecac has one similar symptom which is in the cough region. It also is involved in all the initial cough cases, whether there is nausea or no nausea. But there will be one thing which is interesting and importantly found in ipecac, that will be excess of salivation within first few hours of the development of complaint. Confirm this from the patient, you will be able to give ipecac very much confidently. So Cuprum Met, it has this symptom of salivation, this symptom of cough, where the patient makes goes into spasm, he is not able to breathe, he goes blue. Same is there in ipecac, and ipecac is the vegetable analog. So all the mineral remedies have their analogs, have their complement remedies or complement functions in the plant remedies. If you are able to set up this connection, sometimes a patient may need plant remedy in his acute phase and a mineral remedy in his chronic phase. This is what real homeopathy and follow-up of different cases should be. This is how it should be done. It's going to be very interesting if you are following and staying connected with me through the social media channels. We are live on YouTube, Instagram simultaneously with many viewers. You will be in a better position to do clinical homeopathy than something else which will deviate you from the path. Okay, so Cuprum Met, veratrum also is a remedy which follows well this remedy in whooping cough and cholera. Apis and zincum is there a very similar remedy in convulsions from suppressed exanthema. So we have come to an end for today's session. Only one remedy, quite long enough, 20 minutes, and Cuprum Met is discussed. If you found this as interesting or you find some clinical tip taking away from this session, do mention in the comments, and stay tuned for the next session exactly at 5:15. We will start tomorrow with another metal which is having similar traits. All the metals have similar traits and similar features which will help you prescribe this remedy or those remedies from the metal group which are needed in your practice for the long run. So that's it from today's session, and all the best if you are staying along and connected.